Academy. Let's wait for our candidates to join today. So today's session would be all about speaking, and we'll talk about what is the first part in the IELTS speaking. And we start with the part 1 session, which is called the warm-up session, and what's it all about and how we go about. Good morning, Johnny. How are you? Good morning, Sini. Good morning. Good morning to you all. Yes, Risa, good morning. Good morning. So, Johnny, Sini, Risa. So, today it's all about IELTS speaking. And specifically in IELTS speaking, we go about the first part, which is called the warm-up section, or part 1 or section 1. Which is all about the ice-breaking session. Yes, Parvati, good morning. Jency, good morning. Hope you guys are doing good. Okay, so as we said, it's all about the IELTS speaking part 1, that is section 1. And in section 1, what we do is it's called the warm-up section. Basically, section 1 or part 1, it's the warm-up section. And we'll talk about how we get to know or to answer the warm-up questions, or the first part, the section 1, with the examiner when you go for your IELTS examination, right? How we go ahead and, start the conversation and talk about how each questions can be answered, how each questions the examiner asks you can be answered. Hope you guys are all listening, and let me know if there is anything you want to know, right? So as I said, the first section, that's warm-up, it's called warm-up, where here you go. What is IELTS speaking part 1, right? So Johnny, Sini, Raisa, Parvati, Jency. So IELTS speaking part 1 or the warm-up section, it's a face-to-face interview with the examiner. Usually it's for 4 to 5 minutes, and most of the questions are about yourself, your likes, your dislikes, your country, and usually most of these questions, the questions that will be asked to you by the examiner, will be personal and will be related to you, right? It's nothing out of the box or nothing that you don't know. It's something that you know. All these questions will be personal, related to you, right? Let me know if you need to know anything more about this, right? So basically, it's called an ice-breaking session. In this session, usually what happens is you enter the examination hall, and once you enter the examination hall, the examiner is going to, greet you. He's going to say, or he or she is going to say good morning or good evening or good afternoon. Usually it's morning and afternoon. That's the time when you go for your examinations, right? So it's the ice-breaking session, or you can call it the conversation starter sessions. That's where the conversation is going to begin. And all these questions, as I mentioned to you, right, it's all about you. Like Johnny, Sini, Raisa, Parvati, Jency. All these questions will be asked to you, and it will be related about your life, your likes, what you like, what you don't like, your dislikes, your country. And I said it's personal and it will be related to you, all these questions, right? So what happens when you enter, right? When you enter the examination, you will be having butterflies in your stomach, right? That's an idiom. What's butterflies in your stomach? You'll be very anxious, right? You will be very anxious as to what's the examiner going to ask me? What's he or she going to ask me? right? You'll be anxious and you'll have butterflies in your stomach. That's an idiom that we say, right? You'll be nervous to know what is going to happen next. So the speaking part one, right? The part one, as you know, it's all personal, related to you. These questions can be answered easily. You can prepare it yourself in your home, wherever you go. And if you're going through what you call an online course, or if you're going to any of the academies to study IELTS, they will groom you. They will let you know what these personal questions are. As I told you, it's a conversation starter, right? And most of these questions, that is, as I said, it's all related to you, right? And yes, one more thing. The questions that will be asked to you, please make sure you do not memorize these questions, right? Because the examiner, he or she, they'll come to know immediately that you have just memorized these answers and you have come over for the interview or for the examination, right? So it's basically, it's better to know where you stand. You know, you should talk in a way that's your natural, in a natural way. All your answers should be naturally said, right? So let's go ahead and let's see what is the next topic. So the first time as you enter, as I told you, he will be asking you your name, right? And then you have to give your name, basically your full name. For example, if it's Johnny James, or if it's Sini Bino, and Raisa Sheikh, Parvati V. Nair, Jency Anthony, and Joel Sojan, right? You give your name out to the examiner, and then he or she is going to ask you about your identification or your credentials. So your identification or your credentials will be your passport. So you show it to them, and then it goes on, and then the questions come over to you. He or she is going to ask you the remaining warm-up or the section 1 questions to you. Basically, yes, Joel, hello. How are you? Hope you're doing good. So Joel, as we mentioned today, it's the warm-up time, and warm up the section 1 in the speaking, and how you can crack it, or basically how you can just outshine or perform well in these sessions. The first session, it's basically the ice-breaking session, as I mentioned before, or the conversation starting session. And here you can really shine and outperform with your words, because these questions will be all personal questions, right? And you can prepare in a very good way at home, and then go and answer these questions in confidence. You don't have to think about words, or you don't have to think about your vocabulary. All these will be personal questions, as I mentioned before, like the likes and the dislikes. So you can just prepare yourself, go, do not memorize, and give the answers. And I'm 100% sure you guys will just outperform that. It will be, just a piece of cake, as we said. It will be a piece of cake, the idiom again. So, yes, so the most common asked questions, as I mentioned before, it's your name, your full name, and then your ID or your passport, where you come from, and what you do. These are the questions are asked to almost all the candidates that go for the IELTS speaking session examination, or the sessions, right? And then the other questions that we can have here is the possible topics in speaking part 1, right? And these are the topics that is usually, asked by the examiner after you're speaking the first round of your name and your identification, right? And these are like study, work, school or workplace, hometown, living place, home and accommodation, family, friends, your clothes, fashion and jewelry, your daily routine, your daily activity, food and cooking, drinks, what kind of drinks you like, going out, what do you do when you go out, hobbies and interests, games and sports, future plans, what is your future plan, what are you planning to do in the future. We'll go about it in detail. Let me just finish off with the topics. These are the common topics that may be asked to almost all the interviewees. So that's future plans, pets, reading, music, dancing, exercise, shopping, culture and tradition, festivals, internet and technology. And in this internet and technology, you have mobile phones, email, social media, etc. And the weather. So these are the possible topics that may be asked about the first round of questions. That's your name and what you do and stuff, right? So as we go ahead, right? So as I told you, as I mentioned, these are all commonly asked questions like study. What do you do? What do you study? So these questions can be asked very easily. I study, or I have completed my, plus one, the higher secondary or my plus two, or I have completed my degree in, it can be any field. I have completed my degree, or you can say I've completed my BCom from this university in the state of Kerala or wherever you studied, right? You know it, it's personal. You know what you have studied, right? And then work as well. The same thing goes with work. What do you do? Do you study or do you work? Yes, I work. I'm currently working here, or I am on a break. I was working with this and this company in India or any part of India or anywhere in abroad, and now I am on a break. I'm not working anymore. Or you can say, yes, I am working. And then, as you know, these study, what do you study? You know what you studied, and you know your academics, what you finished, right? And then work. Everyone knows what he or she has worked, right? So school, where did you study, right? Where did you study? I studied in so and so school in this place. And where workplace, what kind of an atmosphere or what kind of a place was it where you worked? So you can say, yes, it was a beautiful place. I have worked. It was a wonderful. I had wonderful colleagues to work with, and it was really, I had I learned a lot in my career from this company, this and this company, right? And then comes the hometown or the living place, and this everybody knows where you live. What's your hometown? For example, if somebody is living in a place called Tiruvalla, you can just say, I am from Tiruvalla, I live in Tiruvalla, and it's in Pathanamthitta district of Kerala. Because the reason I say it's in Pathanamthitta district of Kerala is because the examiner, yes, Soumya, Manu, good morning, how are you? Hope you're doing good. Yes. So, yes, Soumya, so we are today talking about the IELTS speaking part 1, that is the speaking part, where you go ahead and start with the conversation starters, that's the warm-up questions or the section 1 questions. So I'll just go back in the slides and tell you what it's all about once again. So this is what is IELTS speaking part 1. As I mentioned, just for Soumya, it's a face-to-face interview with the examiner. Usually it's for 4 to 5 minutes, and most of the questions are about yourself, your life, your likes, dislikes, your country, and usually most of the questions asked will be personal and related to you, Soumya. There you go. And then the next slide was about what are the most commonly asked questions. Yes, Christy, good morning. Christy Abraham, good morning. Hope you're doing good. So Christy, there again, it's the speaking that we are going about, the part 1 speaking, and it can be called the warm-up section or part 1 or section 1, and how to crack or how to go ahead with the warm-up section, right? So the most commonly asked questions to all will be your name, and you got to give your full name, and then you can call them and tell them that you can call you by your first name. For example, if it's Christy Abraham, you can tell my name is Christy Abraham, but you can call me Christy, my first name, right? That's the way to go ahead, because the examiner, he or she, will not be able to remember your full name. So it's always good to be, tell the interviewer, that examiner, about your first name. You can call me Christy, you can call me Soumya, Joel, Jency, Parvati, Reisa, Sini, and there you go. Go ahead. So these are the most commonly asked questions. Your name, your ID, then comes your ID, then they will ask you how you registered. Usually we register using your passports, right? So you go ahead and give him her your passport, your ID, your credentials, and then where you come from, your place, your hometown, where you come from, and what you do, whether you're working or you're a student. So these 4 questions are very commonly asked. Yes, Raisa. Yeah, Raisa, sir. Raisa has a question here. Sir, if they ask questions about hometown, then how much we have to explain? Good question, Raisa. So let's go to the next, where you come from. The question where you see where you come from, it can be said like, yes, for example, I come from Tiruvalla, right? It's in Pathanamthitta. For example, just tell the place where you live, your hometown, right? And I come from Tiruvalla. It's in Pathanamthitta district of Kerala. It's a beautiful town with a lot of amenities. and a lot of places to see, like temples, churches. You can just explain or give detail about your, and it's good, always good to give at least 2 or 3 sentences about your hometown or any question the interviewer is asking, right? For example, your hometown, it's always good to give three sentences, right? For example, the first you can say is, I am from Tiruvalla. It's in Pathanamthitta district of Kerala, right? And then you can give a little more detail about the place. Like, for example, Tiruvalla is a beautiful town. It's a small town, right? With a lot of temples and churches. And then you can give a little more description about the place where you live. It's always good to give at least 2 or 3 sentences. The reason I say 2 or 3 sentences is because the examiner expects you to give a detail, not a very detailed, but a brief kind of an information about your hometown, right? Or any questions that he asks you, where you come from or what you do, right? So that he needs to, assess you on how good you are, and he needs to mark you on the 4 parameters. So it's always good to give at least 2 to 3 sentences so that he doesn't ask you the question why, or tell me more about your place. I want to know a little more about your place. For example, if we go to the next slide, study, as I said, study. So for example, you can just say, what did you study? It's for all of you. So for example, if they say, what did you study? So you can say, yes, I completed my graduation in, say, for example, I completed my BCom or whatever, your master's, from this and this university in Kerala, right? So you give a detailed information about your study. And for example, yes, as I said, I completed my bachelor's in BCom or whatever, BSc, and from this university in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Mumbai, Bangalore, wherever you studied. So it's always good to give it in detail. And same goes for work. Yes, I was working here as a registered, if you're a nurse, you can just say, yes, I was working as a registered nurse in this and this hospital, and now I am not currently working, or I'm still pursuing, I'm working there, right? So it's always good to give at least 2 or 3 sentences. And that the reason why is they shouldn't ask you, the examiner should know whether you are good in speaking. That's what they want to know. And then, as I told you, these are the common questions that are going to be asked to you: study, work, school, workplace, hometown, living place, home, accommodation, right? So for example, when you get the question like work, they can ask you questions like, what is your job, right? Where do you work? Why did you choose that job? Why did you choose that job? Right? And you have to answer that. These are all you can say, I was really, I love this occupation. I always wanted to be a nurse, an engineer, or a doctor, whatever you are working as, right? Why did you choose that? It excites me. I was always passionate about being a nurse or becoming an engineer. So make sure you answer at least 2 to 3 sentences. Whenever a question is asked in the warm-up section, the first session, make sure you have 3 sentences ready. So as I said, in terms of work, what was your job? Where did you work? Why did you choose that job? Is it a popular job in your country? Yes, it is a popular job in my country, but especially in my state, you can say, yes, if you're a nurse, you can be, proud, and you can say, I'm really proud that my state has the highest number of nurses that's been, that is working all over India and abroad, and I'm really proud to be a nurse. So you have to be confident when you answer these questions, and make sure you don't memorize these questions. It's always good to, know the answer and prepare it yourself, and then just go ahead and speak on it with the examiner. And then you have questions like, is it a popular job in your country? Yes, it is, or it's a popular job, right? It's a high-paying job, and everybody wants to be a nurse or a doctor or an engineer, whatever was your background, right? And then, what was your first day like? Tell me about it. I was really excited. I was nervous. I had butterflies in my stomach. But then as I went, I was comfortable. Now I really love this place, the place I'm working. So it's all about confidence, the way you speak with the examiner. He or she just needs to know that yes, you are good at it and you are talking beautifully, you're talking good. So as I said, it's an ice breaking session. It's a session where you start, they ask you questions and you answer them. But as I said, don't memorize these questions, answers, and just talk freely. It's just he doesn't want to, ask you detailed information from you. He doesn't want to know, or she doesn't want to know detail. They just want to know that yes, you're good at it, and they know, yeah, these are personal questions, and you are ready to answer these personal questions. And when it comes to study, when it comes to study, what do you study? Where do you study that? Or why did you choose that subject? I was passionate. I loved engineering, or I loved nursing, or I loved whatever your study or what your academics were. You can just say that I loved it, and I loved studying that. I was really interested into. I was interested in science. That's the reason why I took up engineering. I was interested in the medical field. That's why I took up the nursing field. So these can be, and then you have the questions like, do you like that subject? What was your first day at college or school like? So these are the commonly asked questions. Then hometown. Where is your hometown? As I said, at least 3 sentences that to describe about your hometown. Where is it? Which district and which part of Kerala, the district? And then give a little more description about your hometown. Whether if there is a famous place or a thing in your hometown. For example, a church, a temple, a river, or anything, a monument. Just tell them that yes, this is famous because of this place. A river flows from this, and this river is called this, right? So these are the questions that may come across for like hometown. And like for example, has your hometown changed much since you were a child? Yes, you can say yes, it has changed much. There is a lot of developments that have gone through in my hometown. Lots of new buildings and lots of new infrastructure. When I was a kid or when I was a child, there wasn't much infrastructure. Now there are a lot of big buildings and big theaters that have come over, a lot of infrastructure, and it's grown. The city has grown. It was a small town. Now it's become a big town, right? So this way you can go ahead and give explanation. As I said, 2 or 3 sentences in at least minimum, right? And then it comes to home. Where is your home? You have to explain. It's the same thing as hometown. My home is situated in this part of Pathanamthitta district. It's called this, and I live in my home with my family. I have a blessed family. My parents, my siblings, and whoever are part of your family. You have to give them the information about who all lives in your home. Like as you say, Malayathi namma parayatile kudumam. Nammade veetil aarokke undu. I live here with my family, my friend, your family members. You have to tell them my parents, veetil aarokke undu, right? And then you have the question like, do you live in a house or a flat? So you know the difference between a house or a flat. A house will always be a single story or a double story house, right? You can say, yes, I live in a single story or a double story house, which has a couple of bedrooms, 2 or 3 bedrooms, a living room. And the most common mistake when I see my students asking, when we ask this question, is they say, I live in a house with 2 bedrooms and a hall. It's better not to say hall. It's always better to say a living room. It's always better to say living room, never to say hall. And then you can say, yes, 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, a hall, not a hall, not a hall, but a living room, a kitchen, and we call it as a courtyard. Courtyard. And then we go ahead and describe about how it is a beautiful courtyard, right? So never say hall. It's a living room, mittam, courtyard, and a kitchen. So if it's a house in a single story, urinella, double story, 2-storied house with the number of rooms, that is 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. Okay, so Raisa Sheikh has a question. Yes, sir, if we have completed our study and searching for a job, then how to answer? Very good, Raisa. Yes, that's a good one. So if you have completed your studies and you're searching for a job, you can say, I have completed my so and so, your master's or your degree or whatever you have studied from this university, and now I am looking forward for a job. Now I'm applying for jobs, or I am going through job interviews. ഞാനിപ്പം ജോലിക്ക് വേണ്ടി അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഐ എം ഗോയിങ് ത്രൂ ഇൻ്റർവ്യൂസ്. ദാറ്റ്സ് വാട്ട് യു ഷുഡ് സേ. സോ ഐ ഹവ് കംപ്ലീറ്റഡ് മൈ സ്റ്റഡീസ്. I have completed my master's or your bachelor's in this and this. Now I am looking forward to work, and I am, sending out my resumes. നമ്മളുടെ resumes send ചെയ്യത്തില്ലേ? For example, our biodata CVs. So I am sending out my resumes, my biodata, and my CV, the curriculum vitae, to the companies or wherever you want to, institutions, to get a job. So that's what you can say. So you can say, I have completed my studies and I'm applying for interviews for work or job related to my field. For example, if you're a nurse, so I have been, I'm sending out my resumes or curriculum vitae, CVs, or my biodata to many hospitals. 3 hospitals il njan ende biodatas and CV ayichittunde, and I'm waiting for them to shortlist me and call me for an interview. So Raisa, I hope you got this question, the answer for your question, right? I have completed my studies and now I am searching or looking for a job, and I've applied in many hospitals or many institutes or many companies, and I'm waiting and wait you for them to give me a call after shortlisting my CV, that's your curriculum vitae, or your resume, or your biodata. Very good. Thank you, Raisa. Thank you. So as we were going ahead, so as we said, this was the question that Raisa asked. Hometown, we completed with home. Yes, house. So house is always, what we say, is a single story or a double story house. Oru nela allengi rendu nela, with the number of a couple of bedrooms, 1 or 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, and a courtyard. Mittathinu courtyard param, with a small or a beautiful garden. Adine namakku anganeya house ine describe cheyunu. And when it comes to home, you have to say, I live in a beautiful home or a blessed home with my family members, consisting of my parents, my siblings, your brother, sister, whoever, your grandparents. Yeah, you can add them. They are also part of your home. So you can always say that, yes, I live with my family that consists of my parents or my grandparents, my elder brother, younger brother, my siblings, right? So that's how you go differentiate between a house and a home. Home is namalde kudumam, and house is the structure. That is where you say it's a single story or a rendanella veedu with the number of rooms, living room, kitchen, and the courtyard. That's how you describe the difference between a house and a home. I hope you are getting this, right? And then we can move on to more specific questions like your hometown. We finished off with hometown, your work, studies, school, living place, home and accommodation. Yeah, flat. If anybody lives in a flat, I live in a multi-story flat. I live in the 7th floor or the 8th floor. And ettamate allengi ezhamate anchamate nellela flat I tamasikkinnu, and it's a 1 bedroom flat or a 2 bedroom flat. അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് അതിനെപ്പറ്റി ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യാം. ജസ്റ്റ് ദ വേ യു ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് യുവർ ഹൗസ്, ദ സെയിം വേ യു ക്യാൻ ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് യുവർ ഫ്ലാറ്റ്. ഐ ഹോപ്പ് യു ഗൈസ് ആർ ഗെറ്റിംഗ് ഇറ്റ്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇതെല്ലാം മനസ്സിലാകുന്നുണ്ടായിരിക്കും, ദ ഡിഫറൻസ് ബിറ്റ്വീൻ ഹോം ആൻഡ് ഹൗസ്. Okay, now if you see, the questions move over to friends, and if you go to friends, you see it says family and friends. Family നമുക്കറിയാം, നമ്മളുടെ വീട്ടിൽ ആരൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്, എത്ര പേരുണ്ട് നമ്മളുടെ വീട്ടിൽ. Your parents, your brothers, sisters, your grandparents, and the things like that. ആരൊക്കെ വീട്ടിൽ കുടുംബാംഗങ്ങളുണ്ട്, you can describe about that. And then friends, do you have many friends? അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വരാം. So you can answer that, yes, I do have many friends. I do have many friends and I love hanging out with my friends. എനിക്ക് എൻ്റെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സിൻ്റെ കൂടെ I usually meet them every weekend. എല്ലാ വീക്കെൻഡിലും ഞാൻ അവരെ കാണാറുണ്ട്. I usually meet them on weekends and we go out for movies or we go out for some kind of get together. അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് പറയാം. So and or you can say yes, and on times I chat with them through social media like WhatsApp or Facebook, or whatever is the way you contact or keep in touch with your friends. So these are clothes. For example, clothes in a പറ്റി ചോദിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ what kind of clothes do you like to wear? So we can say that yes, I am a person who dresses according to the occasion, right? So if it's a formal gathering or a formal gathering in a ഞാൻ പോവാണെങ്കിൽ like a wedding or some kind of a event, I wear formal clothes. അല്ലേ, നമ്മൾ formal attire അല്ലേ ഇടുന്നത് when we go for formal gatherings. But when I'm home or with my friends, I like to wear casual clothes. I like to wear a t-shirt and a jeans, right? When I am with my friends at home or when I'm hanging out with my friends. But yes, when I'm going on a family function or a formal occasion, I wear clothes that is formal, right? So adinu difference varanga. So for example, if you're going to the church, you will not go dressed in a casual way, right? You will be wearing a formal shirt or a pant or a churidar or a dress that is fit for that occasion. Or if you're going for a wedding, you will not go casually dressed. You will be dressed according to that occasion, right? So you have to describe. You can say that yes, I wear clothes according to the occasion. When I am going for a formal occasion like a wedding, or I'm going to the church or a temple, I wear formal clothes. And when I am with my friends or when I am hanging out, I just go out, I wear casual clothes. So adile there may be different type of questions that will come along there, like what kind of clothes do you wear when you go out? So you can just say, I like to wear a jeans and a t-shirt. And do you like wearing t-shirts? You can, yes, I love wearing t-shirts. It's comfortable and it's easy for me to just wear it and go out with my friends. Angane parayam, right? So clothes, there are many ways they may ask you about clothes, right? And they may ask you about what material do you like to wear? What material do you like? So you can always say, I like to wear cotton clothes because I live in a place, I am from Kerala, and it's a tropical climate. The climate here in Kerala is tropical, so it's hot, so I like to wear cotton clothes. So angane namakku adine patti describe cheythu parayam. Then you have fashion and jewelry. So they may ask you, do you girls okay aanengi, do you like to wear jewelry? So yes, I love to wear jewelry, and I wear bangles and I wear earrings. And my the most favorite piece of jewelry, enake ettu ishtamulla oru jewelry aanu my earrings or my ring or my bangle. Angane parayam. So as I said, just give at least 2 to 3 sentences about the topic or which he or she asks you. Oru rando moonu sentence adine patti elaborate idu paraya, right? So what's your daily routine? Angane adha if we go, what's your daily routine or daily activity? So for example, if you're working, you can just say, my daily routine is getting up in the morning, and if you go to the church or your temple, I go to the church or the temple and come back home, have my breakfast, and then go for my job. I go to work and come back in the evening, right? Or if you're a student, I get up in the morning and then I go to school or college, and then I come back home in the evening. And in the evening, your daily, in the evenings, I usually stay home. I spend time with my family, or usually in the evenings after coming back home, I have my evening snack or a cup of tea, and then I go out with my friends. Angane namakku parnge adu at least 2 or 3 sentences, as I said. I hope you guys are getting it. Joel, Soumya, Christy, Raisa, and Sini, as to how to answer the warm up questions. I hope you guys are getting it. Mansilanu undayirikkum. What kind of questions? Idine patti endo. These are the main questions, and then they ask you sub questions about it. Why do you like it? How do you like it? Or what you do, right? So food. What kind of food do you like to eat? So you have to describe ningalku ishtamulla food endo. So usually I like to eat. Namakku parayam. I like to eat food that's Kerala food. Usually it's rice and whatever the curries, whatever you have to mention, right? Do you love cooking? You're a person, if you love cooking, yes, I love cooking. Usually I cook at home with my parents, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ ഫാമിലിൻ്റെ കൂടെ കുക്ക് ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട് on weekends. I love cooking biryani, or I love to bake a cake. അങ്ങനെ പറയാം. So it's, as I told you, these are all personal questions. നമുക്ക് it's not that if you don't like for example, they ask you, do you love cooking? നമുക്ക് നമ്മളുടെ ഇടയിൽ ഒത്തിരി ആൾക്കാർ കാണും who don't know how to cook, right? So you can say, yes, even though I like eating food that my mom prepares, I am not good at cooking. എനിക്ക് കുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ അറിയത്തില്ല. Even though I try to help her, but I am learning. നമുക്ക് പറയാം അങ്ങനെ, I am learning cooking from my mom. ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ അമ്മേനെ, my mom is teaching me how to cook. അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് പറഞ്ഞ് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോവാം. I am not a good cook. I am still learning the basics of cooking. ഞാൻ കുക്കിങ്ങിൻ്റെ ബേസിക്സ് പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക from my mom or from whomever you are learning from. So that's how you go about. നമുക്ക്, it's not that you always have to say yes for everything, right? There are things that ചില കാര്യങ്ങളുണ്ട് നമുക്ക് അറിയത്തില്ല. So അറിയത്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് എന്തിനറിയത്തില്ല അത് പറയണം. So if you are not a good cook, for example, എനിക്ക് കുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ അറിയത്തില്ല. For if somebody asks me, Mon, are you good at cooking? Cooking ഇഷ്ടമാണോ? So I'll say, no, I am not a good cook. But I am just learning the basics of cooking from my mom. ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ അമ്മേൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പോയിട്ട് ഞാൻ കുക്കിങ്ങിൻ്റെ ബേസിക്സ് പഠിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക. So I am not a good cook, but I am learning it from my mom. അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് പറയാം. So your likes and dislikes വരുമ്പോൾ it's not that you always have to stick on saying yes. ഇഷ്ടമില്ലെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമില്ല പറയണം. പക്ഷേ എന്തിനു ഇഷ്ടമില്ല അതും പറയണം. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അറിയത്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞാനത് പഠിക്കുക. I don't know cooking, but I am learning, right? So that's a positive answer. So you are not എല്ലാം agree ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. You don't need to agree to anything. If you don't agree, you can just say, no, I don't know, but I am learning. So അതൊരു പോസിറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ട് പോകും. Or else you can say, no, I am not good at cooking, and whenever I try to cook, it never comes out. It never turns out the way it should. So I am very messy at cooking. ഞാൻ കുക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ നേരം ഭയങ്കര മെസ്സിയാണ്. I don't know how to cook properly. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് നെഗറ്റീവ് ആണെങ്കിലും if you don't know, you can say it in a good way. നല്ലപോലെ നമുക്കത് പറഞ്ഞ് മനസ്സിലാക്കി തരണം നമ്മളുടെ എക്സാമിനറിനോട്. That yes, I am not a good cook, but I am learning it. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ നേരം ഐ എം വെരി മെസ്സി. ഞാൻ അവിടെ എല്ലാം ദ കിച്ചൺ ഈസ് ഇറ്റ്സ് ഇൻ എ ബാഡ് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്. ഞാൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കുമ്പോൾ കിച്ചൺ മൊത്തം മെസ്സി ആയിരിക്കും. സോ ദാറ്റ് വേ. ആൻഡ് ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ, വാട്ട് ക്യാൻ വി ഗോ? ഡ്രിങ്ക്സ്. സോ വാട്ട് ഡു യു ലൈക്ക് ടു ഡ്രിങ്ക്? അപ്പം സോ ഈച്ച് ഓഫ് us ഹാസ് our own personal favorites ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുമല്ലോ, റൈറ്റ്? Some may say it's a tea or a coffee, or some may say I like to drink milkshakes, juice. So these are all personal questions. നമുക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമുള്ള പറയണം. I like to drink milkshake. എനിക്ക് ഇഷ്ടം. Or if anybody asks me, Mon, what do you like to drink? I'll say I like to drink milkshakes. And usually I love drinking Oreo milkshake, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ chocolate milkshake. That's my favorite drink. അങ്ങനെ പറയാം. So we can, as I said, ഒരു sentence, if somebody asks you what's your favorite drink, I love to drink tea. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് then you can add one or two more sentences as I love to drink tea because the morning cup of tea gives me the energy for the whole day. I am stimulated. എനിക്ക് അത് രാവിലത്തെ ചായ കുടിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് I am energy കിട്ടും. So I am stimulated for the whole day. So അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോകാം, right? Or coffee. I love drinking coffee and I'm addicted to caffeine. So I need to drink coffee regularly. So I drink 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day. അങ്ങനെ പറയാം. So that's how you should see. നമുക്ക് ഇതെല്ലാം, these questions are all personal questions. ഇഷ്ടമാണോ, ഇഷ്ടം ഇല്ലയോ? Do you like or you don't like? Right? Do you agree with this or you do not agree with this? അങ്ങനത്തെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഇതെല്ലാം. So you know who is better than you. നമുക്ക് നമ്മളെ പറ്റി എല്ലാം അറിയാലോ. ഇഷ്ടമാണെങ്കിൽ ഉണ്ട്, ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്തിനും ഇഷ്ടമില്ല. For example, you have a question here. What kind of food കണ്ടില്ല. What kind of food do you dislike? It's not, for example, if somebody asks, എന്നോട് ചോദിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ ഇഷ്ടമില്ലാത്തൊരു ഫുഡ്. So I can say, നമ്മളുടെ പാവയ്ക്കല്ലേ, the bitter gourd. So I can say, I love eating all the food or vegetables, but I don't like eating bitter gourd. എനിക്ക് പാവയ്ക്ക ഇഷ്ടമില്ല. I don't like the bitter taste of bitter gourd because it's too bitter. എനിക്ക് അതിൻ്റെ ടേസ്റ്റ് ഇഷ്ടമില്ല. I don't like it. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോകാം. What's your favorite food? So for example, if you like a favorite food, I like Chinese, especially noodles and chili chicken. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ I like Indian food, especially North Indian food. That is butter chicken and the tandoori roti. It depends. See, ഇതെല്ലാം ആർക്ക്. So for example, if you like biryani, I like biryani. That's my favorite food. അങ്ങനെ പറയാം. And the favorite is mutton or chicken, whatever. It's up to you. നിങ്ങളുടെ ഇഷ്ടം, what you like. I hope you guys are getting it. Christy, Raisa, Sini. Right? So these are the questions that's going to come to you. And when it comes to, for example, like games and sports, pinne going out, do you like going out? So it's up to you. Yes, I love going out. I like to go out with my friends and my family. Usually on weekends I go out with my friends to watch a movie. Allengi on weekends I go out with my family to watch a movie. Angane parayam. If you like going out. So if you say no, I don't like going out, I prefer staying in the house. Enike veli pona ishtalla. I don't like going out. I am a person who likes staying home. Enike veeti irikkananu ishtam. So I usually am a person who doesn't like going out. I rather stay home. ഞാൻ വീട്ടിലിരുന്നിട്ട് I like to read books or watch television or watch movies or listen to music. So അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. These are all, yes Raisa, thank you. I hope you're getting it. Thank you Raisa. So these are the questions, all personal questions. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ, so you have to say whether you like it or you don't like it. If you like it, എനിക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമാണ്, I love going out with my friends, with my family. Every weekends, every time I go out and have a good time with my friends and family, I go out for a movie. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് പോവാം. Like if you don't go out, what do? ഞാൻ വെളി പോവാറില്ല. I stay home. I read books. I don't like going out. I rather stay home and read books or watch TV or listen to music. I have other interests. പിന്നെ നമ്മുടെ hobbies and interests. What are your hobbies? Everybody has a hobby, I believe, or interest in those. So you can say I love gardening. It's a passion that I've been following. ഞാൻ ഗാർഡനിങ് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് കുറേ നാളായി. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ എന്നോട് ആരെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ, യെസ് ഐ വാസ് നോട്ട് എ പേഴ്സൺ ഹു ലൈക്ക് ഗാർഡനിങ്, ബട്ട് സിൻസ് ദ പെൻഡമിക്, ഇഫ് യു റിമെമ്പർ പെൻഡമിക് വന്നായിരുന്നു, ലോക്ക്ഡൗൺ ആയിരുന്നു, ആൻഡ് വി ഓൾ വേ ഹോം, നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും വീട്ടിലായിരുന്നു. സോ ദാറ്റ് ടൈം ഐ ഹാഡ് വാച്ചിങ് യൂട്യൂബ് വീഡിയോസ് എല്ലാം കണ്ടിട്ട് എനിക്ക് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് വന്നു ഗാർഡനിങ്. സോ ഐ ക്യാൻ സേ യെസ്, I have a hobby that I just started when the pandemic came. Pandemic vannappo I started watching YouTube videos about gardening, and now I am a good gardener. Yanippam gardening is my hobby. I love gardening. I love plants. Angane parnge. Or else if you have any other hobby, if you like collecting something, right? Alkarke ippam hobbies unde collecting watches unde. Yeah, I have my hobby is to collect watches, different kind of watches. I like to collect perfumes. I like to collect coins. That's my hobby. I like to collect stamps. നമുക്കൊരു ഹോബി ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോവാം. ഗെയിംസ് ആൻഡ് സ്പോർട്സ്. ഡു യു ലൈക്ക് പ്ലേയിങ് ഗെയിംസ്? സോ ഇഫ് യു ലൈക്ക് പ്ലേയിങ് ഗെയിംസ്, യു ക്യാൻ സേ യാ, ഐ ലവ് പ്ലേയിങ് ഫുട്ബോൾ, ക്രിക്കറ്റ്, ബാഡ്മിൻ്റൺ. ഐ ഹവ് ബീൻ പ്ലേയിങ് ദിസ് സിൻസ് മൈ ചൈൽഡ്ഹുഡ്, ആൻഡ് എവറി ഡേ ഈവനിങ് വെൻ ഐ കം ഹോം ഐ പ്ലേ ബാഡ്മിൻ്റൺ ഓർ വട്ട് എവർ ദ സ്പോർട്ട് ഈസ്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ രാവിലെ ഞാൻ ജിമ്മിൽ പോകാറുണ്ട്, ആൻഡ് ഐ ഗോ ടു ദ ജിം ഓർ ഐ ഗോ ടു ദ ബാഡ്മിൻ്റൺ കോർട്ട് ഓർ പ്ലേ ഫുട്ബോൾ ഓർ വോളിബോൾ, വട്ട് എവർ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ്. Or what's your favorite sport? My favorite sport is football, cricket, right? And my favorite player and cricketer aanengi, you can just say yes, my favorite sport is cricket. I love watching cricket. And Virat Kohli or whoever is your favorite cricketer, you can just say yes, Sachin Tendulkar. He's my I adore him. I'm a big fan of Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli. So that's how you go ahead. And then you see the other questions like future plans. What are your future plans? As Raisa said, I have completed my study and searching for a job. So my future plan, Raisa, this is for you. You can say my future job is, as I have completed my studies, my future plan is to get a good job and get experience from it. Adina adite joli aanengi, if it's your first job, it's always to say I get a good job and get experience from it. Angane namakku parayam, what's your future plan? My future plan is to get a good job and get a good experience from it. Angane parnge namakku mumbottu povam. Or my future plan is to go abroad for my higher studies. Njan porthu povana, I am planning to go abroad for my higher studies, for my masters or whatever you are planning to do. Or I am planning to, my future plan is, as I have completed this and this subjects, and my future plan is to go for my masters abroad, wherever you are going, Canada or United Kingdom or wherever, Australia. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ മുൻപ്. And if you are going for job, you can say I was working as a engineer. Now my plan is I am on a career break. ഞാനിപ്പം ബ്രേക്ക് എടുത്തേക്കോ, and my future plan is to go to US, UK or wherever you are planning to go and settle down there and get a good job. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോവാം. Then you have these like, do you like pets? Pets ഒക്കെ ഇഷ്ടമാണോ ഇല്ലയോ? Do you like, if you have a cat or a dog or a bird or whatever pets you have? Yes, I love pets. എൻ്റെ വീട്ടിൽ തന്നെ I have a dog or a cat or your fishes ഉണ്ട്, birds ഉണ്ട്. You can explain about it, tell them about it. Pets ഇഷ്ടമാണെങ്കിൽ. And if you're not interested in pets, you can simply say, no, I'm a person who doesn't like pets. But I have never been, I was busy in my life, so I never had time to have a pet at home, or we never had a pet at home. Pets illa. I don't have pets. And reading, yes, you can say, reading, are you a person who likes to read? So you can say yes or no. Yes, I'm a person who likes to read. And these are some of the books that I have been reading recently. ഞാൻ currently ഈ book read ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക, right? അങ്ങനെ പറയാം. Or you can say, no, I don't like reading. I don't get time. I don't have enough time for reading as I am busy with my work and studies. മനസ്സിലായോ? നമുക്ക് you should not, as I said, നമുക്ക് ഇത് personal questions ആണ്. ചിലർക്ക് reading ഇഷ്ടമായിരിക്കും, ചിലർക്ക് ഇല്ലായിരിക്കും. So if you love reading, you can say എനിക്ക് reading ഇഷ്ടമാണ്, and currently I am reading this kind of novel അല്ലെങ്കിൽ book. ഞാനിപ്പം ഇതാ വായിക്കുന്ന, അതിൻ്റെ ഓഥറിൻ്റെ പേര് എങ്ങനെ വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം. And if you don't like reading, for example, വായിക്കുന്നില്ല, so you can just say it in a good way. നല്ലൊരു രീതി പറയാം, no, I don't like reading, I don't have time for reading because I am really busy with my, എനിക്ക് ജോലിയായിട്ട് I am really busy with my work and I'm busy with my studies, so I don't get time for reading. അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് പറയാം. So as I said, these are all personal questions, right? അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമാണോ ഇല്ലയോ അത് പക്ഷേ you have to elaborate and tell at least in 2 or 3 sentences. And then the remaining, you see, you have music. Are you a person who likes to listen to music? So I believe most of your നമുക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും music ഇഷ്ടമാണ്. നമുക്ക് പറയാം, yes, I love listening to music, and especially Malayalam music. Or I love listening to Malayalam movie songs, and my favorite singer is Yeshudas, Chitra, or whoever. It can be anybody. If you love listening to Hindi songs, you can say, I love listening to music, especially Hindi movie songs. Angane parangette, English aaning English, whatever. Angane parayam. And then, are you a person who likes dancing? No, I don't like dancing. Ennodu choikkan, if it's asked to me, I'll say, no, I don't like dancing. However, I love watching dancing. If somebody is dancing, I love watching it. But എനിക്ക് ഡാൻസ് ചെയ്യാൻ അറിയത്തില്ല, അങ്ങനെ വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം. Or if you love dancing, you can say, yeah, I love dancing, and whenever I am with my friends or family, or whenever there is a special occasion and there is music, പാട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ ഡാൻസ് ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട്. So the same thing is with exercise. Do you exercise? You can say yes or no. Yes, I exercise every day. ഞാൻ എല്ലാ ദിവസവും എക്സസൈസ് ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട്. I go running or jogging, or I go to the gym, or whatever is your way of exercising. ചെയ്യാറില്ലെങ്കിൽ you can say, no, I don't have time. എനിക്ക് സമയമില്ല എക്സസൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ because I am really busy. രാവിലെ എണീറ്റ് എനിക്ക് ജോലിക്ക് പോകണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്കൂളിൽ പോകണം, and I come back, ഞാൻ വൈകിട്ട് താമസിച്ചാണ് വരുന്നത്, so I don't get time to exercise. So these are the kind of questions. As I പറഞ്ഞില്ല, exercise, then you have shopping, culture, tradition, festivals. What is your favorite festival, or what festivals do you celebrate in your country? So നമ്മളുടെ കൺട്രിയിൽ ഏതൊക്കെയാണ് നമുക്ക് പറയാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്? We have Diwali, we have Holi, we celebrate Christmas, right? See, these are the festivals that's celebrated in our country. So about state ചോദിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ, what's the festivals that you celebrate in your state? You can say Onam is a traditional festival that's celebrated in our state in Kerala. Everyone celebrates it. It's a festival when everyone sits together and have their lunch together. അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് ആ ഫെസ്റ്റിവലിനെ പറ്റി. So be specific when they say about country. നമ്മളുടെ കൺട്രീനെ പറ്റി for India ചോദിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ, it's always good to go ahead and say Diwali and Holi, because that's what is they want to listen from you. When it's state specific, when they ask you about your state, അതിന് ആ സമയത്ത് നമുക്ക് ഓണം പറയാം, വിഷു പറയാം. And apart from that, we celebrate Christmas and Easter and Vishu. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് അങ്ങോട്ട് പോവാം. And then you have internet and technology. അതിനകത്ത് ഈ മൊബൈൽ ഫോൺസ് ഉണ്ട്, ഇമെയിൽ ഉണ്ട്, സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ എക്സെട്ര വരും. So mobile phones in the question പറയുവാണെങ്കിൽ, are you a person who uses a lot of use your mobile phone a lot of most of the time? So അങ്ങനെ പറയുവാണെങ്കിൽ you can say, yes, I am a person who loves to use his mobile or her mobile phone a lot of time, or usually to check my mails, or send messages to my friends. And അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നമുക്ക് പറയാം the most commonly used apps that I use is the WhatsApp or Instagram, YouTube. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോവാം. So as I tell you have to at least make sure that say at least 2 or 3 sentences. So this way the warm up is going to go ahead. Then you have email, social media, weather. ഇതൊക്കെ weather, how's the weather in your state അങ്ങനെ ചോദിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ my state is I live in Kerala, I am from Kerala അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ it has a tropical climate, so it's humid and hot, right? And we have monsoons a lot. It starts in the month of June and goes on till the month of October. ഞാനൊരു tropical, Kerala is a tropical climate ഉള്ള ഏരിയ അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞ് നമുക്ക് വെതറിനെ പറ്റി പറയാം. സോ അവർ ചോദിക്കുന്നത് what kind of a weather do you like? So നമ്മളുടെ ഇഷ്ടമുള്ള വെതർ പറയാം. I like a weather where it's not that much of rain, or I like cold weather. അങ്ങനെ പറയാം. So it depends. So as I said, these are all personal questions, and these questions will be directed towards you. നമ്മളുടെ ഇഷ്ടങ്ങൾ, ഇഷ്ടമില്ലാത്ത സാധനങ്ങൾ, അങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ മുമ്പോട്ട് വരുന്നത്. Right? So do you have any other questions? Raisa, Sini. I see only Raisa and Sini here. So do you have any other questions, Raisa and Sini? Let me know. Then we can go ahead, and then next class we can go ahead with the detailed information of part 2. So let me know if you have any more questions so that we can wind up the session today here, and then go ahead. Next time when I see you, we'll go ahead with the part 2 sessions. Okay then, hope you guys are doing good. Take care and see you next time. Bye.